Hello, welcome to this part 2 of Introduction to Data Science. I'll quickly recap about what we done in the earlier session. We saw what is data science. We saw the difference between data and information. I gave you some examples also on data and information. We saw who a data scientist was, and we saw what is the importance of data science. In today's session, we will talk about more about data, the actual meaning of data, and also the different types of data. Now we saw what a data was. The data was a fact which was processed to get information. Now there are three different types of data which we commonly deal with. The first one is called the structured data, the second one is an unstructured data, and the third one is called as a semi-structured data. Now what is a structured data? Now, structured data, as the name itself indicates, the data is structured, which means it is organized properly in rows and columns. The unstructured data is very messy, which means the data is not organized. Now what you can see on the right hand side of your screen is a structured data, and what you see on the left hand side is called as an unstructured data. As the picture itself shows, the data is very messy, which means it is not organized. Now when do you call that the data is structured? When it has these properties. When the data is highly organized, which means it is organized in terms of rows and columns, when it is properly formatted, where every column is given a heading, and it can be easily searched. Structured data can be used for searching the data item very easily. It is also called as a quantitative data, and SQL is a very useful language for basically searching for a data in a structured database or a structured data. Now SQL is called as a structured query language. Now spreadsheets and relational databases are the solid examples of structured data. Now what you can see on the left hand side is a simple example of a spreadsheet, and what you see on a right hand side is an example of an snapshot of a relational database. Now we all know what a spreadsheet is. It is a simple worksheet. I have taken an example of a student, and where he are gathering his roll number, name, course, and remarks. So as you can see there, the vertical columns are basically containing some names like roll number, name, course, and remarks, and there are horizontal rows. Now we can see that there are multiple rows in this particular spreadsheet, and we are able to search for a particular student based upon the roll number, and we can also search for a particular remarks based upon the roll number. So searching of the data is much easier in case of a spreadsheet. Similarly, we have a relational database where a relation is nothing but a table. Now a database is nothing but a collection of tables. Now there are two tables here. One is called a customer table, and the second one is called as an order table. Now the customer table has got 5 columns. You have customer ID, you have got first name, you have last name, you have email ID and phone number. Similarly, an order table will have an order ID, an order date, and a customer ID. Now why we are splitting it into two tables? Because we are setting the relationship between the customer table and the order table. That means if I have to place an order on a particular date, I require to know who is the customer who is placing the order. So we interlink the customer table with the order table. Now you can see that the order ID 1 belongs to a customer called 2, and from the customer table we can identify who this customer 2 is. It is nothing but the person's name is Dave, and he has an email ID and he has a telephone number. So like this we can try and connect two different tables and maintains the consistency between the two tables. So we can say that the data is structured, it can be easily read, it can be easily understood, and we can also add, modify, and delete the data easily. So this is one of the main important usages of structured data. The second type of data which we are going to deal is called as an unstructured data. Now the unstructured data is also called as a qualitative data, and it has no predefined model. See, unlike structured data where we had an relational database model, unstructured data does not have any predefined model, so hence it cannot be processed or analyzed easily. So we have something called as NoSQL database, which is an type of terminology or a skill what we basically use in order to manage the unstructured data. Now there are different examples of unstructured data which we use in our day-to-day lives. The text messages, the SMS messages what you get on your mobile, the WhatsApp video files which you basically receive and forward, the audio files, the mobile activity, the social media activity. I think this compromises to maximum percentage of unstructured data in terms of Facebook posts, Facebook likes, and Facebook sharing of postings, and also the satellite imaginary images which basically comes for analyzing the weather forecasting and so on. So the list is endless. Now all these actually attributes to unstructured data. Now when you actually look at the percentage of structured and unstructured data which has grown over the years, now you can see from the chart that so from 2009 to 2017, when we have collected the data by a particular statistician, we understand that the structured data has been almost consistent, whereas the unstructured data is growing vertically, which means that as the advent of the internet happened and as the internet grew leaps and bounds, the amount of unstructured data also increased. Now you can see from the pie chart that 85% of the data today is unstructured and only the 15% of the data is structured. Now what do we do this with this 85% of unstructured data? As you know that the unstructured data is a data which is not at all organized. Now where do we use it? Does it have some information in it, or can we use this data for a meaningful purpose? Certainly yes. Unstructured data can be used for meaningful purpose, so it is used to take important business decisions. Now how do we do that? We will learn that in our next sessions, that how to make use of unstructured data to take important business decisions by the organization. Now the third type of data is called as a semi-structured data. In a semi-structured data is nothing but it's a combination of both structured data and unstructured data. It cannot be stored in the relational database format, so it also does not have a predefined structure, but there are certain notation documents like JSON, which stands for JavaScript object notation and extensible markup language. So these are some of the documents which are examples of unstructured data and semi-structured data. Okay, now thank you for watching this session. I will see you in the next session where we'll talk about more about the role of a data scientist and his salaries, and the upcoming sessions will also start with programming in R. So see you in the next session. Till then, take care. Bye bye.